Hello everybody, this is another 6-minute video. This is where I talk about a random topic for 6 minutes in front of a camera and a microphone in hopes of increasing my skills at speaking. I want to become a great public speaker and I want to post one of these 6-minute videos every single day for the rest of this year. I'm not trying to get famous off of these or anything, but if you would like to subscribe, please do. I'd always love to have another one. Anyway, we're playing some Dredge in the background because it's always a great game for me just to sit back and relax because this is going to just be a yap train, let me tell you. So I wanted to talk about a couple things, and one of them was being technology. I was buying some technology today. Whoa, technology. And what happened was I was buying some security keys. There's these things called UB keys, and they basically lock your software and hardware down to a physical key. That's pretty cool. And I'm like, heck yeah, I don't know if I would ever use it, but for $10 a piece, why not? And if I'm ever gonna put a computer in a public space or anything and just leave it there, I'll probably set it up with one of those UB keys, which is really cool. And they're cheap enough, they have the security backed behind them, and what else? They have the NFC like tapping mechanism, NFC chip in them that you can tap your phone with. Any NFC reader to like read that chip and that card in the little tiny USB plug-in. Really, really cool. So I'm like, heck yeah. So I hit up this guy, and this is on Facebook Marketplace, mind you. I hit up this guy. I'm like, yo, can I get a couple of these? Are there still some left? And he's like, absolutely. I've completely botched that. He's like, absolutely. I'm gonna get to my house in 30 minutes. I'm like, heck yeah, I'll hit you up then. So he gets to his house, then he sends me his address, and I oblige, and I get over to his place. And this guy has a ton of stuff, like a ton of electronic equipment in his garage. And I was like, yo, this is awesome, dude. Where'd you get all this stuff? He's like, well, a company was shutting down. I'm like, oh, that's terrible. Because that's really sad when, you know, somebody's hopes and dreams of running a company didn't follow through. And I really don't like that. But, you know, so is the world. So I'm like, oh, that's too bad, man. I'm like, is any of this other stuff here good too? He's like, oh yeah, I mean, if you see anything you want here, go for it, dude. I'm like, heck yeah. So I started looking around. I'm like, what other things do you have? And he said, oh, like I got hard drive, I got RAM, I've got monitors, I've got monitor stands, you know. I'm like, dude, heck yeah, let me see a couple of those things. So basically, he goes through the hard drives and he's like, I have the info on all these, the hours that they've been on. He printed out a sheet of all the statistics for these hard drives, and he had them just like rubber banded to each hard drive. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. But here's the thing. He was asking for $60 for a 4 terabyte hard drive. Pretty good. They're about $200 new. I'm like, dang, I might hit that up. But mind you, I looked at the hours. The hours were between 30,000 and 40,000. If I were gonna buy two, I was gonna buy one at 30,000 and 40,000. I was like, ooh, well, that's not good. Because when they get to about that time, hard drives will begin to fail, and you don't want to be the one holding that drive when it fails, because that's your data gone. That's part of the reason why I was buying two, because if you buy two of those drives, you could actually link them together to create this thing called a RAID. And it's a very strange word to describe it, but basically what it is one drive actually stores the information. The second drive, what it does is it duplicates the information onto it as well, but you're not technically using it. So let's say number 1 drive fails. Oh well, number 2 drive still has all your data on it. That's called redundancy, and it's an amazing thing, and I'll never be caught without it, personally, right? It's just too important not to have it. And if you're running any kind of computer without it, you know, you're always running that risk that if that hard drive fails or your storage device fails, then tough luck. You're not going to get a second chance at getting that data back. But, oh well, a lot of consumer devices don't fail before their lifespan is pretty much used up because they're so cheap to begin with that it doesn't really matter if, you know, you have redundancy or not. It's going to be replaced anyway when the time comes. So, but in large corporations, sorry, I'm just it's a yap train today, I know, but it's important stuff. People should know about this. When big corporations and like corporate jobs, you know, I don't really know, like massive companies, I don't really know what to call them, but just industrial areas where redundancy is very, very important, that becomes a huge deal. Because if you're an IT guy and then you're installing some hard drives or storage into a place, and maybe 5 years, 6 years down the line, when people are saving stuff to it over and over again, when that happens, when, you know, the big deal happens and that drive decides to crap out on you, that's not good. And that's what they call what is it called? A resume creator, because the people that didn't take the time to learn how RAID configurations work, they get fired. And that's that. That's the end of that. But I mean, right, I mean, it's pretty common knowledge over there. So you're not gonna, if you're an IT guy and you don't know what you're doing, a higher up person has probably already set up the system in the first place, so you don't need to really worry about it. Basic stuff for some people, but I have just learned this stuff, you know, maybe a couple years ago, and if I thought it was interesting, I think another person could find it interesting as well. I had another point. I had like 2 more points that I wanted to talk about, but I got so invested in telling, you know, about the hard drives and SSDs. Oh, second point. When I was talking with him, and he had these hard drives, and he's like, well, another college student went by and bought like 10 of them. I'm like, holy cow, that's a ton. And he must have bought hard drives that were quite similar in hours. And when they get to that high of hours, that is not good. And the guy said, hey, the larger the size of the hard drive, the longer it'll last. Actually, I don't know if that's true, because inside of those hard drives is this metal disc. See this? It's not going to focus, but it's a metal disc that spins. It's got the hard drive, and this thing spins inside of it like a permanent DVD or permanent DVD, Blu-ray disc, whatever. But that thing is spinning inside of a hard drive, and it's got a mechanical arm. It's got a mechanical arm that switches onto it and off of it like a vinyl player. It's pretty cool. But the problem is that these things are prone to fail, and mechanical drives are great for a lot of storage. They carry a ridiculous amount of storage for a very cheap price. It's very affordable to get into those. But the bad thing is they don't last as long, and they're always running. Therefore, their performance / lifespan is degrading, and that's not good. So SSDs, M.2 drives, have solved that almost completely, and they are getting better and better, and to the point where hard drives are almost to the point of just not even being viable for a data center anymore, because they're slow, they're prone to fail, all that jazz. You get my point. But, you know, SSDs are super, super expensive. They have a much smaller disk, or a much smaller size to put space on, so it's not as common to have... It's not as common to have high capacity drives like those, because it's just how small. But, I mean, you'll still find them, because corporate environments, they need them, and they invest heavily into those type of products. So, it's whatever. So he was trying to sell me on these drives, and I was about to buy them. And on my way to the car, I'm like, hold on. He said, since these hard drives are larger, like 4 terabytes, oh gosh, I'm getting attacked over here. Since these hard drives are larger, like 4 terabytes large, they will degrade at a slower pace. But I know better. Those hard drives are going to degrade at the same pace as any other hard drives. Just because it's got a smaller disk in it doesn't mean that mechanical switch in that drive is not going to fail sooner or later than any other drive. So I'm literally getting upsold here. He didn't know any better. He didn't know any better. He wasn't trying to scam me or anything. But still, I had to have that sharp mind, and I feel bad for that other college student for buying all those drives, because he definitely bought drives that had been on for thousands of hours, tens of thousands of hours for no reason. And, oh, didn't mean to do that. And that was too bad, because, you know, I was fortunate enough to, you know, make that conscious decision of, oh, I probably shouldn't be doing that. So, good. I mean, we what do you call it? We avoided a tragedy here by spending 50 of my hard-earned monies. I mean, it's $100 because I was going to buy 2 of them, but still. Anyway, end of the video. Thank you for watching.